column? Can you please raise the hands if so? Great. Good. Let us move on to the next concept in database. Now, if you look over here, whenever I am inserting values, I have to always give this every value for every single column. But at some point of time, I don't want to give a value. Okay, if I don't want to give a value for designation column, by default, okay, if I give a value, use that in the table while inserting records. If I do not give a value, by default, assume that they are graduate engineer trainee, GET. Okay, if I give a value like VPGM, insert that value. But if I do not give a value, then use GET as the default value. If I want to do like that, okay, now I'm going to drop the table once again, right? I'm going to drop the table. I'm going to recreate this table once again with this particular rule. If I don't give a value to the designation column, by default use GET. Now I'm going to say, okay, create table, my table, EMP ID, number, primary key, EMP name, varchar of 30, designation, character of 3. Now I'm going to say there is a attribute. This is called an attribute for a particular column. Default. Okay, default, I'm going to give a value saying that GET. Okay, then date of joining as date. Let me just try to create this particular table now. Okay, the table is now created. Okay, now let me describe this table. Describe my table. I'm going to insert certain values now. You could see what is the difference between the previous way of insertion and current way of insertion. Let me insert a value. Insert into my table. Okay, values. I'm going to say 101 James, designation is AVP, sysdate. Okay, now I have supplied values to all the 4 columns. It has created the value. Now I say select star from my table. It shows those values. Now I'm going to insert a value, insert a record, but I'm not going to provide a value for this designation column. Let us see what happens. Insert into my table. The columns that I am going to supply are employee ID. Okay, sorry, I made a spelling mistake over there. Employee ID, then employee name. I'm going to supply only values for these 2. I'm not going to supply for all the columns. Values, I'm going to say 1 or 2. Value is Mike. So I supplied values only to 2 columns. Now it says 1 row created. Now let us do a select. See what happens. There it is. In the first row, I provided AVP as the value in the insert, so it inserted that value. in this insert, I have not given a value for designation column at all, but instead he used the value GET. I did not give a value to date of joining, so he kept it empty or null. But for this value, though I have not given the value for designation column, he used a column name called get, the value called get, because while creating the table, we have used this class, default class. During insertion of a new record, if a data is provided for a default column, use the given value. If the user does not provide a value for the default column, whatever value you have given at the time of create statement, use it. This is the purpose of default. In many places, if I give a value, use this. If I do not give a value, use some default value as 0 or default value as current date, something like that, right? This is one other variation in creating a table. Is this clear? Good. That's good. Now, the next concept that we are going to see, right now we have got 2 records. I'm going to insert one more record. Insert into my table, values, 501 Alok, designation is GM, sysdate, okay? Now there are 3 records. If I select this, there are 3 records. Remember, the other important usage of the database is filter. Get the records that you need. Don't get all the records. Right now when I say select star, it gives me all the columns and all the rows. But now I want to get employees whose employee ID is less than 500. I just want to filter from all the records that I have got. Show me only the records whose employee ID is less than 500. If I need to do that, for that I need to use select star from my table. Okay, this is standard that we have seen previously also. If you want to filter data while retrieving from the database, simply use where condition. Where is a part of the select. After this keyword where, you give the condition. The condition that I want is EMP ID is less than 500. Okay. The moment you do that, after where, you can give a condition. Okay. Now there are 3 records in the database, but it shows only 2 records whose employee ID is less than 500. This is called filtering. From all the records, you filter the records that you want. Okay. Now I am going to give another condition. Okay. Select star from my table. Okay, where employee ID is greater than 1000. Okay. Suppose I give this condition. See this. There are no records which are satisfying this condition. So it says no rows selected because there are 3 records in the table. All the 3 records do not satisfy this condition. So now we have used less than and greater than. Now I'm going to use something else where designation is equal to VP. I want to compare. Show me all the records whose designation equal to AVP. Again, the same condition. Instead of employee ID greater than 10,000, all you need to do is change the condition, okay, where designation equal to AVP. Okay, I need to put a space in between this where and designation, okay, otherwise it will show a syntax error. Okay, where is a keyword. Following where you need to give a condition. Okay, the moment you give a condition, depending upon whether the condition is satisfied or not, either it will show the rows who satisfy the condition, or it will simply say no row selected if the condition is not satisfied. Out of the 3 records, only 1 record contains AVP. Now I can have multiple combinations also. We will talk about this. Is called a simple condition. Simple condition meaning column is equal to this value, or column is greater than this value, or column is less than this value, right? So this is called the simple condition. I can also give conditions like show me all the employees whose employee ID is greater than 500 and whose designation is GM. So I can give a complex or a compound condition. We will see the compound conditions in the next class. Today we are going through only simple conditions. Is this clear? Giving a simple condition in the select using where clause. Is this clear? Can you please raise the hands? Okay, great. Perfect. Now, select is one of the data insert and select or data manipulation languages. There are 2 more keywords, update and delete. Remember the first class. There is a method called CRUD, create, read, update, delete. Create is equal to insert command. Read is equal to select command. Update and delete, we have the commands as update and delete directly as we have in the CRUD method. In the database also we have update and delete commands. Now I want to update the designation of all the people to, let us promote everybody, okay. Let us make everybody as SVP, senior VP, okay. If you want to modify the values, now you can say update. Update is used for modifying the values of a table. Update my table. Update the table. Which column you are going to change? For that you have to say set. Set the designation column equal to, I say SVP. The moment I give this condition, this update command, and it is showing me 3 rows updated. That means I have updated all the records. Now let us do a select statement, right? Okay, sorry. We don't have the now all the records are having the same designation as SVP, right? It has updated all the records to SVP. Because I have given update the entire table, set this value, but I have not given. Now I want to specifically update only 1 record. Okay, update 501 alone. Okay, the record whose employee ID is 501, update that person's designation to CEO. If I want to update only 1 record, again the same concept of where holds good. Now I say update, the same update command. Previously I have given without a where condition, right? Now I am going to change the value to CEO, okay? CEO, update the value to CEO where employee ID equal to 501, okay? Now I am giving a where condition in update also. So where condition you can give in a select statement or in update statement or in delete statement. Where condition will not come in insert statement. We will talk about delete statement in the next class, but now let us do a select, okay? Select star from my table. Look here. You see, previously without a where condition, all are updated. Now, the moment I give where condition, only this particular record is updated to CEO. So update means modify the data. Okay? Is this clear? Can you please raise the hands? Great. Okay. Now, rest of the session, we are going through the question and answer session. Okay. Someone has asked, again, I'm going through the questions and then I'm going to answer all of them. Somebody has tried to compare Oracle and MS SQL Server. Okay. The scope of this session is only to go through Oracle. Let us not try to compare because there are a lot of databases available, but let us stick only to Oracle. The purpose of this session is not to compare and contrast two different databases. Okay. So I'm ignoring that question. Someone has asked, can I write order clause, order by, before the where condition? Always in select. Select, from, where, order by comes only towards the last. So in the select, after the from, you have to use the where condition. Only after that you have to use order by clause. So order by has to come after the where clause. Someone has asked, can we insert multi-language data like Arabic, English? Yes. There are possibilities where you can do English, Arabic, Spanish. For that, the installation has to support, that is called NLS, Natural Language Support. So that's an advanced portion in the database side, and that's not part of the scope of this particular thing, but you can, definitely you can, right? Someone has asked, when we use defaults, won't it take the sysdate? Again, in our database, we have not given default value for the date of joining column. Okay. When we created the table, we have given the default value only for the designation column. So it took the value only for designation column. Whereas when we created the table, we have not provided a default value for the date of joining. That's why it's not taking, right? If you mention a default class for this also, obviously it will take for that. Okay. Someone is asking, what is this software that you have been using? We have been using Oracle 10G Express. Okay, 10G Express is a free download. Once you install that, you will get this command line, SQL command line, from which you are executing. So this command line is an interface to Oracle. So if you want to download Oracle 10G Express. Okay. Okay, then someone is asking, when we open this run SQL command line, it asks for the user ID and password. At the time of installation, it would have asked you what is the user ID and password you want to create. That user ID password you need to use. Okay. Someone has asked, what are the portions you're going to cover in Oracle? Please refer to our openmentor.net. Once you go to openmentor.net and you sign in and then log in, against each course, the moment you mouse over, it will show you all the topics that you are going to get. So you can refer to our openmentor.net portal, which will describe all the details of every single webinar. Then, okay, and all these webinars are getting recorded. People have asked when the recorder program will come in OpenMentor. We have started recording most of our webinars, so we are still doing the editing part of it. Okay, So once the editing part of it is over, we plan to upload all the webinars soon after the editing is over, and it should not take more than a couple of days from now. So Open Mentor, again, it pledges to open and free education over the internet. Okay. Someone has asked a question about joins and then altering table. We have not touched those topics. Let us stick to the doubts which are pertaining to last 2-3 classes. We have not covered joins. We have not covered so many other things like group by. In due course, we will be seeing all those things also, right? And we have not touched a lot of stuff in date and time manipulation. We will see date and time manipulation, string manipulation, etc. So in the coming classes, okay? So don't worry, these are all just waiting, because hundreds of people attend. In each room, we are trying to group 30-40 people, max 50 people in a single classroom. So we are having multiple classrooms like that. So there are a lot of people who attend Open Mentor free webinars. So we need to go step by step. We will see tomorrow. The next class agenda is to have alter. We have not touched about. We talked about create table and drop table, but we have not touched alter. Alter table. Then even in select statement, we have got some more information like group by, having class, and then we have to see some more string manipulation commands and date manipulation commands. We will see that. That's what is going to be tomorrow's class. Okay. Okay. Someone has asked, in this table definition that we have got, we have not defined the primary key for ename and date of joining. Yeah, this is only an example. Don't take this as the original database design of some company. This is only an example for us to learn. I defined employee ID to be unique, but we left everything as non-unique. That's why we have done that. So don't take it. This is how it should be. Okay. It depends upon situation to situation. Okay, any other questions with respect to these concepts? Let me recapture what we have seen in this class. We started with primary key definition of a table. Then we defined varchar. What is the difference between in length of a character and varchar field? Then how a unique constraint will be violated when you provide a duplicate value to primary key. Then we talked about sorting, okay? Sorting the table using order by in ascending as well as descending. Then we used filtering in terms of providing a where condition. We found a simple condition. Then we used update or modify the value of the fields in the table without a where condition and with a where condition. And we also saw two commands, length and trim, which are built-in functions in the database. And this is what we have seen in this class. Since I'm not getting any more questions in the topic that we have covered in these 3 classes, let us wind up this class, and then we will meet in the next class tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll start covering alter and then group by, having something called aggregate functions, right? We will continue from that point. Okay, I'll end the webinar over here. Thanks a lot. Again, we reiterate, Open Mentor pledges itself to free online education over the internet. Let the whole world learn free. Okay, bye and good night.